Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Kody and Sukanya, usually the peacekeepers of the family, found themselves locked in a heated argument that sent shockwaves through the gathering. The tension had been simmering beneath the surface for months, unnoticed by most, until one misplaced comment, a seemingly harmless joke about Sukanya's career choices, ignited a fire that couldn't be contained. Kody, usually so composed, reacted defensively, his voice rising as he accused Sukanya of always undermining him in front of the family. Sukanya, caught off guard by his intensity, fired back, her words sharp and unyielding, exposing long-held resentments that had festered in silence. The room, once filled with cheerful chatter and clinking glasses, fell into an uneasy hush as relatives exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether to intervene or let the two hash it out. What started as a minor disagreement quickly escalated into a full-blown confrontation, with past grievances and unspoken frustrations pouring out in a torrent of accusations and hurtful remarks. The siblings, usually the glue that held the family together, now stood at the center of a storm, their anger radiating outward and casting a shadow over the entire event. As the argument raged on, the family dynamics shifted in real time, alliances formed, old wounds resurfaced, and the carefully constructed facade of harmony crumbled. Kody's parents tried to mediate, but their attempts only fueled the flames, as Sukanya accused them of always favoring Kody, while Kody shot back that she was playing the victim as usual. The younger cousins, who had always looked up to the two as role models, watched in stunned silence, their expressions a mix of confusion and disappointment. Even the aunts and uncles, who were usually quick to offer advice or crack a joke to lighten the mood, found themselves at a loss for words, the weight of the conflict too heavy to brush aside. The reunion, which had begun with hugs and cheerful greetings, now felt like a battlefield, with everyone tiptoeing around the explosive tension between Kody and Sukanya. The fallout was immediate. Sukanya, tears of frustration in her eyes, announced she was leaving, snatching her car keys from the table and storming out without a backward glance. Kody, his face flushed with anger and regret, sank into a chair, running his hands through his hair as the reality of what had just happened settled over him. The remaining family members stood in uneasy silence, the air thick with unspoken questions. How had things gone so wrong so quickly? Would this fracture ever heal? And most importantly, what did this mean for future gatherings? The reunion, which should have been a celebration of togetherness, had instead become a painful reminder of how fragile family bonds could be. In the days that followed, the fight became the topic of hushed conversations and frantic group chats. Some relatives took sides, while others pleaded for reconciliation, but the damage had been done. Kody and Sukanya, once inseparable, now avoided each other entirely, their absence from family group photos a glaring testament to the rift between them. The unexpected fight had not only ruined the reunion but had also forced the entire family to confront the unresolved tensions they had long ignored. As the dust settled, one thing became painfully clear: some wounds ran deeper than anyone had realized, and repairing them would take more than just time. It would require honesty, humility, and a willingness to listen. Until then, the memory of that disastrous day would linger, a stark reminder of how quickly love could turn to conflict when words were left unspoken for too long. The annual family reunion was supposed to be a day of laughter, shared memories, and rekindled bonds, a rare occasion where distant relatives gathered under one roof, setting aside their busy lives to celebrate their connections. The backyard was adorned with fairy lights, the smell of grilled food filled the air, and children ran around playing games while elders exchanged stories. At the center of it all were Kody and Sukanya, the couple everyone admired for their seemingly unshakable love. They had been together for years, weathering life's storms with quiet resilience, their relationship often held up as an example of patience and understanding. But on this warm summer evening, something shifted. What started as a light-hearted debate over something trivial, perhaps the music playlist or a misplaced dish, suddenly spiraled into a full-blown argument, their voices rising above the hum of conversation, drawing uneasy glances from relatives who had never seen them exchange anything harsher than playful teasing. At first, no one paid much attention. Couples bickered, it was normal. But then Sukanya's voice cracked with an unfamiliar sharpness, and Kody's usual calm demeanor shattered as he snapped back, his words carrying an edge no one had heard before. The air grew thick with tension as their disagreement escalated, old grievances tumbling out in heated bursts. "You always do this," Sukanya accused, her hands trembling. "You act like everything is fine when it's not." Kody's face darkened. "Maybe if you actually talked instead of expecting me to read your mind, we wouldn't be here." The family watched in stunned silence, the festive atmosphere dissolving into discomfort. Aunts and uncles exchanged worried looks, cousins stopped mid-laugh, and even the children sensed the shift, their playful shouts fading into uncertain whispers. The fight was unexpected not because disagreements were rare, but because Kody and Sukanya had always been the ones to handle conflict privately, smoothing over cracks before they could widen. Their love had seemed unbreakable, built on mutual respect and quiet compromise. But tonight, the pressure of unspoken frustrations, the weight of small resentments piled up over time, finally erupted in front of everyone. Sukanya's eyes welled up as she turned away, her usual composure crumbling, while Kody ran a hand through his hair, his jaw clenched in frustration. The reunion, once vibrant with joy, now felt heavy with unasked questions. Relatives awkwardly tried to defuse the situation, an uncle cracking a poor-timed joke, a cousin suggesting they all move inside for dessert, but the damage was done. The argument had peeled back the curtain on a struggle no one knew existed, leaving the family to grapple with the realization that even the strongest relationships had hidden fractures. As the night wore on, forced conversations and strained smiles replaced the earlier ease, the reunion forever marked by the moment Kody and Sukanya's perfect facade cracked. Some wondered if this was just a passing storm, a rare outburst that would soon be forgotten. Others feared it was the beginning of something deeper, a rift that might not be so easily repaired. And as the last guests left, the silence between Kody and Sukanya spoke louder than their earlier shouts. The reunion was over, but the echoes of their fight lingered, turning what should have been a celebration of family into a stark reminder that love, no matter how strong, was never immune to breaking. Kody and Sukanya, it became the stage for an explosive confrontation that left everyone stunned. The air was thick with the scent of grilled food and the sound of children playing when the tension between the two, which had been simmering beneath the surface for months, finally erupted into a full-blown argument. It started innocently enough, a casual remark about Sukanya's career choices, something Kody had always subtly disapproved of. Sukanya, usually the peacemaker, had reached her limit. Her sharp retort caught Kody off guard, and within seconds, what should have been a minor disagreement spiraled into a heated exchange that drew the attention of the entire gathering. Kody, known for his stubbornness, refused to back down, his voice rising as he accused Sukanya of being ungrateful for all the sacrifices he had made. Sukanya, her patience worn thin, fired back with years of pent-up frustrations, her words cutting deeper than she intended. The family, initially amused by their bickering, quickly realized this was no ordinary spat, this was a clash of egos, unresolved grievances, and deep-seated resentments that had festered for far too long. As the argument escalated, the joyful atmosphere of the reunion shifted into one of discomfort and tension. Relatives exchanged uneasy glances, unsure whether to intervene or let them hash it out. Some tried to defuse the situation with light-hearted jokes, but Kody and Sukanya were too far gone, their voices overlapping in a cacophony of anger and hurt. The breaking point came when Sukanya, her eyes blazing with fury, accused Kody of never truly listening to her, of always putting his own needs first. Kody, his face red with indignation, shot back that she was being unreasonable, that she expected too much. The silence that followed was deafening. For a moment, it seemed like the entire reunion had frozen, the weight of their words hanging heavily in the air. Then, without another word, Sukanya turned on her heel and stormed off, leaving Kody standing there, his anger giving way to stunned disbelief. The aftermath was just as chaotic. Family members split into factions, some siding with Kody, others defending Sukanya, and a few just wishing the whole mess would disappear. The reunion, which had begun as a celebration of family bonds, now felt fractured. Whispers filled the air as people dissected every word of the fight, speculating about past conflicts and hidden tensions. The children, sensing the shift in mood, grew restless, their earlier excitement replaced by confusion. Even the simplest activities, the group photo, the cake cutting, felt forced, as if everyone was just going through the motions. Hours later, as the sun began to set, Kody sat alone on the porch, nursing a drink and replaying the argument in his head. For the first time, he wondered if he had been too harsh, if there was truth in Sukanya's accusations. Meanwhile, Sukanya, who had locked herself in a guest room, wiped away angry tears, questioning whether their relationship could ever recover from this. The reunion, meant to bring everyone closer, had instead exposed the cracks in their connection. By the time the evening wound down, the damage was undeniable. Some relatives left early, eager to escape the tension, while others lingered, hoping for a resolution that never came. As the last car pulled out of the driveway, the hosts exchanged weary glances, knowing this reunion would be remembered not for its joy, but for the fight that turned everything upside down. Kody and Sukanya's unexpected clash had not only disrupted the day but had also forced the entire family to confront uncomfortable truths about communication, forgiveness, and the fragile nature of relationships. Whether this would lead to healing or further division remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same between them again.